All right, what's up? This is TiNMaN at TiNManBeats.com coming to you live today to kind of discuss a very simple topic, but it can be complicated for people that are beginning to produce on FL Studios or any platform. Really, it doesn't really just come down to FL Studios. And the topic of the day is hi-hats. If I had a lot of these tips before I started, I would have actually added a lot of spice to a lot of my beats that I kind of think are stale. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot out a couple tips here for the hi-hats and some things that can benefit you guys if you're just now starting, or just some tips if you guys think you learned a lot about hi-hats and just looking for a little bit more. Hey, this may actually help you also. Without further ado, let's get started. I got a pre-made pattern here. If you want to know how I did the 808s, I got a video in the description and you can check that out also. That kind of demonstrates all the stuff I did to the 808s and more, actually. So once you build a basic pattern, let's say you do have a sample or something. I'm not going to put a sample in or nothing like that right now. I just want to stick and focus on the drums. But let's say you have something going of whatever patterning that you have, and you're going to spice it up with some hi-hats. First, you probably are going to go to fill and put in the two-step fill, which is cool, but there is some things you can do to even spice up that. So let's say I just have that basic fill. I always consider, I'm just going to stop it there. I always consider where the hi-hats are hitting in relationship to the snare. And this is why people always say, you know, drag off beat your hi-hats and snares to get a different kind of feel. So I'm going to teach you a quick way to slide your hi-hats off the grid and make it kind of drag, but it make it sound a lot better. So this is how it originally sounds. I'm sorry. Let me turn it off. This is how it sounds without the swing or the drag. Be careful not to say swing. You're just sliding the notes off the grid. That's what you're doing. And you turn it on, and you can actually hear the difference in relationship to where the hi-hat is striking in the snare. This is without, this is with. And to get to that option to shift the notes, you just click on whatever instrument it is. You can actually shift anything, but this is more so just for hi-hats. Go click on hi-hats, and it's probably going to be on the wavelength. Right here, you can just go to the wrench and then go to shift. It is different in FL Studio 11. But FL Studio 12, I love it because it puts all these options right in front of you, and you can kind of just go in and do some quick augmentation. So once you got it shifted and you move the note, and remember also you can copy the events. You can edit the events, but you also can copy the value. So if you wanted to kind of paste this in different places, see what it sounds like, you can do that. But right now, off. I kind of like how it sounds, so I'm gonna take it just as is, and I'm going to throw that in the piano roll. Since it's already slid off, it got a little bit of groove already. I'm going to add some more augmentation to it. So while in the piano roll, I'm going to hit Control L, which actually lengthens the notes to the end so that when you cut it, you can make even cuts. So now that it's lengthened out, I'm going to highlight the select tool. And right now I'm just listening. Just listen to the beat to kind of see where I kind of want the chops to go. So I kind of got an idea of what I want. So I'm going to highlight this section right here, And then if you see me kind of skip ahead and I kind of blow past and didn't explain this because it's such automated for me. I just kind of just shoot straight past it. But I highlight a section that I want and I hit Alt U, which brings up a box. All of this is the piano roll chopper. It just chops up notes. And as you can see, that's how they get the stuttering hi-hats in the trap beats that you guys always listen to. But, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys already know that. I'm just going to augment it the way I feel like it should go. So basically, you just move the time multiplier and it takes in, or it adds in chops, or it subtracts chops. And what I'm going to do is I kind of want to go with the 4. And for the people who didn't know, you can actually triple notes very easily by hitting just Alt W, and you can do advanced triples. It's actually called a claw machine, but you can do advanced triples with the time distance multiplier here. But we'll get into that on another video. But it's for you guys. You can play with it as much as you want. That is something I do use occasionally also. So I hear that I kind of want this. Let me see. Whoops. Okay. And a lot of this is experimentation, but that's what it's all about. We make beats all the time. Really a lot of it is experimentation. Just going off of based on what I like. Now, here's just a quick tip. If you always want to go back, I know I probably gave this out in another video, but if you want to go back in FL Studio, you hit Control Z and you're like, hey, it doesn't go back like normal program when you hit Control Z. Hit Control Alt Z and it keeps going back and it pulls up history. Because I'm pretty sure somebody is having issues with that, because I know I was when I first started. So there you go. I'm just going to put these chops here. I hear a particular thing I want to do, but let's see if I can pull it off in my head. Okay, sounds all right. All right. Actually want to cut that up a little bit more. Okay, so that's cool. I don't want to get into too deep into it because I know I can kind of concentrate on that even more so, but that's just simple for a demonstration I'm going to use right now. So something simple, and now you got your pattern that is cool, but believe it or not, you could take it a step further and add a lot more spice to it by simply looking at these notes and kind of in relationship to your melody, see if you can pitch these to kind of match your melody. So let's pretend like it's a makeshift melody somewhere that we don't have. You may want to drop it and see what it sounds like. I kind of like that pitch right there. I'm gonna highlight this. Let's drop that a semitone, an octave too low. Let's bring it up a little bit. So we have that. And it's just to add a little bit of flair to it. I would definitely always say though, it's just, as I said, match it with the melody to make sure the tones are working correctly. And what I'm doing here is I am editing the velocities to put a little bit more humanization into it. And what that does is kind of what you already hear is it adds just a little bit touch. I mean, you can take it further if you want to, but it adds definitely a touch of customization to it that you don't get from just the still sound that you hear here in the middle versus right there. And I would definitely say just go in and kind of augment what you see. Keep these ends. That's a little bit extreme. I wouldn't probably do it that extreme if I were to do it, but hey, that's just for example purposes, just to make the point clear, is that, you know, augmenting the hi-hat velocities definitely gives it a different kind of vibe. And also you can also change this. You just go to the gray area, right click it, and you can click on the pan option, which is almost as equally as important, definitely when it comes to the mixing phase. So you don't have your hi-hat just striking in one part of the mix, kind of occupying too much of the space. You can kind of give it even more life by just panning it through your ears. It definitely gives it a lot of flair, but you know, sometimes you don't. You play with it because you don't want to take away from the beat, because the beats are, you know, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Hi-hats are not the beat, it's just to complement the beat. But you know, it all depends on what you're doing and what sounds good to you. It's all experimentation at the end of the day, right? So that is quick and dirty hi-hat augmentation for this pattern here. I think as far as I would go with that. But I want to also throw out a quick tip. This is more for the advanced user that is looking at this, who's waiting and it's like, hey, you just doing all this simple stuff. I don't care about none of that. I always keep in mind that if you make this and you like, hey, I like it, but I don't really like the beat anyway, but I like what I did to the hi-hats. I always remember, you can go straight in here, go to File, and Save As. And then I already got some patterns in here that I didn't already pre-made, but just for example purposes, go in here and just save you a quick pattern. That way you can save that. And now you have it for if you want to throw it into another beat. Let's say you don't like that. Let's say you listen to that and you don't like it. You don't like the mechanical feel of the drum steel. You want to put some live drums on it. So I brought in Contact here. It's kind of been sitting there waiting for its chance to shine. And I'm just going to go to the piano roll and go to one of my scores that I already have. Open up my scores. And well, let's choose, I don't know, 3. What does 3 sound like? Yeah, 3 is fine. So I chose 3, and we're just going to see what 3 does in the mix. And this, I don't know what it sounds like. This is just something I already pre-made from another beat, or I made the beat, scrapped the beat, but I like the hi-hats and saved a couple stuff out of it. Well, you know, it's kind of funny that it almost still sounds the same, but not really. It's just live hi-hats. So you kind of get an example of how you can kind of utilize saved scores that you've already pre-made to kind of just throw in a beat to get a better idea and, you know, kind of speed up the creativity process. And of course, you're probably not going to use it. You go in and probably cut stuff out to make it more, complete. Because that's the idea, right? You just wanted to get an idea, and you go in and you want to go in and kind of just change up a little bit of things to kind of make it fit in the new track that you're already doing. Just because I'm kind of anal sometimes, I'm just going to finish that out just because I got to. And what I would do is I would probably swing this a little bit more. So that's just a simple, quick and dirty rundown of how to augment hi-hats. And my concept to the advanced user is work smarter, not harder. Just save all the scores that you do use. That way you can always just come back to it and just throw these different scores in. And to be honest, if you wanted to make riffs out of this, you can make little small riffs out of this and save it as sample riffs and throw it into samples and chop up the riffs. And that's more for the advanced users, but just want to get you guys thinking in different places. That way you can kind of see what's kind of going on and utilize different methods to make things work. But anyway, without further ado, this TiNMaN Beats at tinmanbeats.com. If you like the video, like it. If you hate the video, tell me why and I'll try to make it better. Other than that, I am out. Peace.